Hello everyone, my name is Michael James and I am the director of On Golden Pond, which is the season opener at Highland Summer Theatre here at Minnesota State University, Mankato, and it is being sponsored by General Mills, and we want to thank them for their sponsorship because what a perfect show. Everyone is familiar with General Mills products, and this is a show that is very much a family show, very endearing, very warm, and very all-American. So come out and see On Golden Pond, May 25th through 29th at Highland Summer Theatre. Our Highland Summer Theatre opener is On Golden Pond, which is probably familiar to a great number of our audience members. It actually premiered off-Broadway in 1978, and the play is still around and going strong today, which says a lot for the lasting power of the Thayer family, who are the stars of the show. It actually was made into a movie in 1981, which everyone probably remembers, but there's a lot more history to the play than most people are aware. When it premiered off-Broadway, one of the producers was Greer Garson, the famous TV star. And it did move to Broadway in 1979, and it came back to Broadway in 2005, starring James Earl Jones. So now the play, we can proudly say, is the first time that it's being presented at Highland Summer Theatre or Minnesota State Mankato. And it has been produced in more than 40 countries and in 27 languages. And there are very few plays that can say that. We joined the Thayers, Norman and Ethel Thayer, at Golden Pond, which is in Maine. And the story was written by Ernest Thompson, and he grew up on a lake very similar to the one that's in the story. I think one of the wonderful things about doing the show here in Minnesota is that being the land of 10,000 lakes, there probably isn't an audience member who hasn't spent time at either their own or someone else's lakeside cabin. And one of the wonderful things about those cabins are the memories that it brings back. They come flooding back to us, memories of childhood, memories of growing up, some wonderful times at the lake. And I think that's what's going to happen when audiences come to see On Golden Pond at Highland Summer Theatre. You're going to walk into the theater and you're going to see the set, and it's going to start sparking memories right away. It's like, oh, we were in a cabin like that, or our cabin had features like that, and oh, look, they've got the old games, and look at all the old books. So before the show even starts, I think you're going to see things about it that will automatically make you feel at home. We've kept the play in 1978. For a lot of reasons. First of all, it was a simpler time. We didn't have Game Boys then. We didn't have cell phones then. And there was something about, and to this day, even with all the technical marvels that we have, there's something about going to a lake cabin that you feel isolated from the rest of the world. You don't care what's going on the nightly news, and you don't care if people can't reach you as easily. And that's what's going to happen when you step into Golden Pond and Highland Summer Theatre. It's going to take you back to a simpler time. But at the same time, you're going to, regardless of your age or your economic background, your personal life, everyone in the audience is going to find things in Golden Pond that they can identify with. Be it aging parents, being a teenage angst, being divorce. There's something in all of these characters in Golden Pond that every audience member can identify with. And I think that says a lot for the lasting power of the play. One of the things that's interesting, I've been in communication with Ernest Thompson, the playwright, and one of the first things he said to me was, "Do not be sentimental." And I just kind of laughed and said, well, not to worry. In our first production meeting preparing for the show, one of the things I said to the entire crew and staff was, we are not going to play this sentimentally. The reason for it being, if you play it sentimental, if you're saying, oh, please cry here, please laugh here, it won't happen. The characters, Norman and Ethel Thayer, their daughter Chelsea, her boyfriend, the young boy who is her boyfriend's son, Billy Ray Jr., all of these people, and Charlie, the mailman, all of these people are real people in your lives. You will know who these people are. And they play it as it is, as a real life situation. As a result of that, the emotion comes out of it. Ethel and Norman are in the twilight of their life, so to speak. Norman is about to turn 80 years old. Ethel will soon be 70 years old. And Norman is obsessed with dying. He knows it's going to happen soon. What is wonderful is that in the second act of the play, we see a complete change in Norman. Because a young boy, Billy Ray, who is only 13 years old, comes into his life unexpectedly and gives him something to live for. And we see a complete change in Norman by the second act. And what is charming is that we see the 13-year-old start to take on characteristics of Norman, who's now in the second act 80 years old. And we see this 80-year-old man start to take on characteristics of a 13-year-old. So it's the mentor, be mentored situation. And the entire play, in fact, is about renewal. It isn't about growing old or dealing with the problems of Alzheimer's, which we see that Norman possibly may be on the early fringes of that. The play begins in May, when the lake itself and the woods and the flowers are all starting their period of renewal. And it ends in September, when everything is starting to go into hibernation again. And we see a renewal in all of these characters, and especially Norman, of all of them. And then at the end, as the lake starts to go back to sleep, the wonderful part is that because of Billy Ray coming into Norman's life, his renewal has lasted, and now he has a reason to live again. He has an importance in his life again. And so we leave the play on an up note. We still don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how much longer Norman and Ethel have together. But the relationship with them and their daughter Chelsea has been renewed. Norman's faith in mankind has been renewed. Chelsea's life has been renewed by finding a good man to marry and by having a stepson now. And Charlie the mailman maybe still doesn't have Chelsea as his wife after 45 years, but still he is everyone's best friend on the lake. And I think you'll all probably, as audience members, have someone that you can identify with Charlie as well. He's the gossip man on the lake and everyone's best friend at the same time. So I do hope you will come see On Golden Pond. I want to talk about the cast very briefly. The two actors playing Norman and Ethel Thayer are both grad student graduates of University of Minnesota Mankato. They are both 20 years younger, sorry, just gave their real ages away, than the characters they're portraying, which is actually the original actors off-Broadway and then Broadway were also 20 years younger than the characters they were playing. Originally, they approached Melvin Douglas, those of you who are old enough to remember him, to play the role of Norman, and he says, "I'm too old to remember the lines." Well, unfortunately, once we get to our 80s, trying to remember lines to a whole play can be difficult. So we have John Olive and Susan V. Hansen playing Norman and Ethel Thayer. We have a current grad student, Anthony DePoto, who is playing Charlie the mailman. And then we have a recent graduate, Jeff Smith, who is playing Bill Ray, Chelsea's soon-to-be husband. Chelsea is being played by Meredith Larson, who is a current student here at Minnesota State University Mankato. She'll be graduating next fall. And then playing 13-year-old Billy Ray is a new actor to MSU, and that is Grant Matsky. His parents are Paul and Christina Matsky of Mankato. And Grant is a delight. He wants to be a professional actor. And this is at the ripe old age of, he's actually 12. I believe this will be his 6th or 7th performance. So he's already a veteran of the stage. But he takes direction remarkably, and his relationship with Norman, or with John, the actor portraying Norman, is already solid. So he's going to be a delight to come out and see. So definitely come and see On Golden Pond at Minnesota State University. Don't compare it to the movie. In fact, I think you'll like it better than the movie. And the story is, it's warm, it's touching, it's sentimental, but it's also very genuine. You will see yourselves or friends on that stage in those characters.